welcome back. Did you have a hard time with value graph in the previous lessons? Don't worry, you're gonna get comfortable with it once you practice it a lot and then start using it in your project. And today, fun time again, I want to show you another type of graph in the graph editor, which you know is gonna be the speed graph. If you had problem learning value graph or had a lot of pain learning it, don't worry. I can assure you the speed graph is going to be 10 times more painful than the value graph. And to be honest, speed graph is easier to get lost and it's just not as intuitive as the value graph. However, sometimes in certain situations, speed graph is the only thing that you can use to animate. So the speed graph is as important as value graph. However, if you like value graph more, you can in the future animate more with value graph. I also know some animators, they only animate with the speed graph. So depends on what you like. You can choose whatever ones you like to animate with. However, there's certain situations that you have to animate with speed graph. Something that you cannot do with value graph. Remember this project I showed you before, this loop animation. And today in this lesson, I want to show you how to achieve this loop animation with a speed graph instead of the value graph. Now let's go into the keyframes. Remember how we animated this line animation? We just put in a keyframe whenever there's speed change, and then we modify in the value graph based on our understanding of steepness equals speed and then flatness equals 0. So whenever there's speed change, when the line goes faster, like this part here, the line goes faster, we want a steeper graph here. And then when it slows down, we want a smaller angle, like more gentle curve here. So steeper curve means faster animation, and then gentle curve means slowing down. And in the end, this is the type of graph that we get with this animation. This is the value graph. It's very smooth. And now let's see what it looks like in the speed graph. Let's click on this icon, go to edit speed graph. Whoa. What is that? Look at that. So with the same animation, this is a kind of speed graph that we get. So in the speed graph, let me make it bigger. In the speed graph, you can see the x-axis is going to be increasing in time, and then the y-axis going up, it's going to be increasing in speed. Which means, remember, when we animate this line, we add a keyframe whenever there's speed change. So in the front, we want the speed to be high, and then going up all the way to the top, we want the speed to slow down. That's why you can see it's almost close to 0. And then when the line comes down again, it should speed up. And that's why you can see over here, the speed goes up again. The graph can tell, the graph can show you that right now it's almost like 400 pixels per second. The speed goes up and then slows down again, goes up, slows down, goes up, slows down. So that's how we get the same kind of animation with the speed graph. However, I don't want to just show you the end product. I want to show you how to do it if we don't have this in position. Now let's just go back to the timeline and then hold down Command, left click, so we can change all the keyframe to a linear keyframe and there's no speed change anymore. Select all of them, go to the graph editor. Now make sure you're in the speed graph. And this is the speed graph view with linear keyframes. Everything is flat. There's no speed change. However, the speed is not 0. Right now it says it's 70 pixels per second, and you can see the 0 lines over here. Now what we want to do is just to adjust the speed at each point of the animation to whatever speed that we want. Remember, in the beginning we want the speed to be faster, so we can drag this up, and then at this point here we want it to slow down, because however when I drag it, you can see the two handle just broke. Same thing with the value graph. What we need to do is just to lock the two handles. Select this one and then go to set to auto Bezier just to lock. I want to do all of them so that I don't have to worry about it later on. Just select the two keyframes there and then lock the handles. Lock them, lock them, lock them. And now when I drag one of them, the two is gonna come together, go hand in hand. And that's how we want the speed to go down. At this point, it should start to speed up again. Just put it way up. And you may ask me, like, how fast do we want it to be? Like right now it says 100, like how fast do we want it to be? To be honest, it just comes with practice and experience. First, you never know how fast you want it to be, but it really depends on the timing between the two keyframes. And then the rule of thumb is to just make the curve as smooth as possible without any spikes, so that it should look pretty smooth. Now we can just do the first round, and then if it's not fast or slow enough, we can adjust later on. I just want to put it something like that. At this point, slows down, and then this point faster, this point slow. You see this thing here? That looks weird. I don't know why. Maybe it's because it's not fast enough. I don't know why. And then just at this point, faster. This point slowing down. And this point faster, slowing down. Let me just adjust the handle here to make sure it's not something like this. It's not smooth at all. Just adjust this one here. And sometimes when you're adjusting the speed graph, like it doesn't work like the value graph. Like when you adjust one of the handle, nothing else changes except for that handle that you're adjusting. But then for the speed graph, like whenever you change something, there's always something else that's changing with it. So you just have to deal with the uncertainty within the speed graph. As long as you have like something smooth or it looks smooth, your animation should be good. And another way, right now I have this speed graph adjusted. I can go to this icon here and then show reference graph. In that case, it's gonna show me the value graph underneath, so that this case I can just tell with the speed graph I have right now, it's almost similar to the value graph that we get previously. So I can tell the animation is probably going to be something similar to what we had before. And let's just preview this and see what happens. Slows down, goes faster, slows down, goes faster, slows down. Yeah, you know what? It actually looks pretty good. It feels very natural except for the first loop. I feel like the first loop is on the top there. It's not slow enough. It's too fast. So I just want to adjust maybe one more thing here. However, I don't want it to slow all the way to 0. Maybe I can drag the handle so that give it more time to easing in and out of the frame so that there's a slight ease to it. There's a moment that's just hanging there. Something like that. And then let's preview it again. Yeah, it looks better. It looks much better. Just pay attention to the first loop. Yeah, it hangs there at the top and then goes down again. All right, this is how you do a similar animation with speed graph. And then next video, I'm going to show you one more example of how to use speed graph to animate.